Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Emphasis from the Talking to Myself podcast. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'm gonna get right into it now. So, long story short, there's three major labels that own like the majority of other labels. Those three labels are Universal Music Group, Sony, and Warner. Now, Universal is the biggest of the three. They own about 30 to 40% of all the other labels out there in the artist catalogs that are out there, such as Drake and Taylor Swift and Adele. UMG also is a publicly traded stock. And with that, they have to do quarterly reports that are made available to the public. In their report, the CFO of Universal, Boyd Muir, I don't know if I probably messed his name up. Nope, can't pronounce it. Boyd M. He acknowledges that streaming has hit a plateau. His exact words were subscription revenue saw a deceleration in growth. Large partners who have been less successful in driving global adoption have seen a slowdown in new subscriber additions, which is just a roundabout way of saying that a lot of these streaming platforms, they've slowed down, they've lost a lot of momentum. They've kind of hit like you could call it a peak or a plateau, depending on how you look at it, whatever, same thing, I guess. It's really not surprising to me, really. No business can grow forever. You can't just expect it to just indefinitely just keep going up and up and up. Even a business like Amazon or whatever, sooner or later is gonna kind of hit like a plateau. But I'm definitely not surprised that streaming services have hit a plateau, considering that many streaming services, they had a flawed business model in the first place. Despite reports in the last quarter saying that Spotify did see a profit, for the most part, Spotify has not been a profitable company in its 17-year existence, and it's unlikely that it'll be able to sustain itself as a profitable business, because part of what made them profitable recently was they had to lay off a boatload of people. Then on top of that, they started to raise the price of Spotify in certain countries. And then also, obviously, we know the past couple years they were basically bribing a lot of podcasters to join their platform, and that's really not working out as well as they thought it would. So in my opinion, I don't believe their profitability is going to be sustainable in the long term. I just don't see it happening. Now, some people may be asking or wondering, why does this matter? To me, it matters because music streaming services like Spotify they're already not lucrative for most artists, and it's unlikely that they ever will be, because if you haven't managed, because again, Spotify's been around for almost 20 years now. If you haven't managed to consistently be a profitable company in 20 years while simultaneously having over half a billion users, and a quarter billion of that half a billion are paying customers right now, there's no way you're ever going to be able to figure that out. I just can't see it happening. Now, this also could be a sign that UMG is signaling that they may try to renegotiate with Spotify in the near future for a larger cut, but it's still yet to be seen. This could be the beginning of like a crisis as far as less and less people not buying music. Again, I've said many times that most people don't see value in music anymore, unfortunately, even though music is very valuable and expensive to make, but most people that don't make it, they don't know any better. So they just say stupid things like at that, just like Daniel Ick a few weeks ago when he said music costs close to zero to make. That's really how a lot of people in general feel about music and making content, because they don't have experience actually being the ones making it. They think it's just some simple thing that could be done in like a couple of seconds, and obviously not that simple. But again, the general consumer is really not gonna care. So this could be the beginning of a crisis, because we, again, in the world at large, we're watching the economy, at least in America, is kind of going down the toilet. And with that, people typically only stick to what's absolutely necessary for them in their lives, like something like water or food or whatever. And things that can kind of be looked at as luxuries like music kind of end up taking a back seat, and they end up not paying for it or not looking into it because they just don't see the point. And they're definitely not going to want to see the point of paying a few dollars a month for Spotify if they could stream it for free on YouTube or another website. But on the other hand, this could also be the beginning signal that labels may pivot back into some sort of physical media. because again, I do believe that these labels, they got into a lot of the streaming stuff reluctantly, because we got to remember this is not really what they wanted to happen. Because going back to 1999 when CD sales peaked, I'm sure that they want to go back to something of that nature that can make them as much money as possible. They really only got into streaming because they had no choice. File sharing and all this stuff was just too out of control. Or this could also be a signal that these labels may be looking into pivoting into some sort of new digital experience that could be more profitable than streaming, whether it's like virtual concerts or something of that nature. But who knows? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you think that this could be a major moment where we see a crisis in the music industry, or do you think that the labels will pivot into something else, or do you think that this is all just a lot of hype and it's not going to make a difference and they're still going to make their money?